What's going on, everyone? Vexran here. Happy 20th anniversary, Pokemon. Reason why I'm recording this is I just want to share my story, how Pokemon changed my life. So, hope you guys enjoy the story. At first, back in Jersey, 1999 to 2000s, my brother and I used to watch Pokemon a lot. Every entire Saturday morning on Kids WV, I remember. We would just watch Pokemon. But we never played the game, we never knew anything about the game. All I remember was just watching the show until one day, my family wanted to take us to a flea market. This flea market was in English Town. I remember it was like a whole entire sandy like desert area. That's what I remember it looked like, and it had a bunch of old and weird stuff. From like, you would see old consoles to weird just old stuff in general. Me and my brother actually saw one table that was selling a bunch of like GameCube games, Nintendo games, and we saw Pokemon cards. And we were just so amazed on the Pokemon cards, especially because we were just looking at it, playing with it and everything. And I remember picking up a few of the Pokemon cards. Machamp and a Mewtwo I remember picking up. And later on, me and my brother was like, "Nathan, come over here." I said, "What is it?" He showed me, and we just see Pokemon Gold. Now, Pokemon Gold, we did not know what area was that in or any of that stuff, when we saw Pokemon Gold, we decided to pick it up as soon as we can. So we asked our mom begged our mom pretty much. She's like, "Okay, that's no problem, I'll get you Pokemon Gold." We got Pokemon Gold and we were so excited to play it at home. But as soon as we got home, me and my brother were arguing who's going to play it first. I remember my brother decided to play it first, because he was the one that found it. So I was like, okay, that's fair. When he decided to play it, he chose Totodile or Cyndaquil, one of those two, I believe, mostly Cyndaquil. And then after he played a little bit of the game, I did not know there was a second account. You can't make a second account on it, so I restarted his file, and I played the game, and I chose Totodile. And then later on, I didn't beat the game either. And I remember when one day me and my brother were coming back from school, we saw our dad even playing it, and he goes like, "Nathan, Aaron, what is this game?" You're like, "It's Pokemon, what's Pokemon?" And also, only thing we saw him catching was Sentrets. So later on he was like, "Are you supposed to just catch these things?" Because my dad was a huge entire fisherman, and he thought just catching them was good. So I was like, "You catch them and train them." And he was like, "Oh, interesting." But he puts the game down and he went off to work. And we go and open our PC, and we see a bunch of 10 to 20 Sentrets. Nothing but Sentrets. It was pretty hilarious, actually. And then, so later on, we restarted the game again, but we never touched it for a bit. Our cousin Timmy decided to come over, and Timmy was like, "Oh, you guys have Pokemon? I love Pokemon." And we were amazed, because we never knew that our cousin loved Pokemon. So from him visiting us for a couple months, he beats the whole entire game, and I remember me and him watching him play the game all the time. So then after he beaten it, we were just so amazed. And then later on, he shoved off and we lost our Pokemon Gold cartridge. I think we loaned it to our cousins, and they have it now. I believe I still remember them having it. So later on, we went to our other cousin's house, Michael and Jonathan. Now over there, they had their older brothers had all the Pokemon games. They were so up to date. They were so into competitive battling, and we would just play Pokemon with not just the older brothers, but John and Michael as well. We would have our games of Gold, Crystal, and Silver, and we would all just battle each other. Now later on, later on in the years, this is when Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald came out. Now, I remember Aaron buying with his own money was Sapphire, and I was saying, "Oh, there's a new Pokemon game," where we were all getting freaked out and stuff like that. And I decided on my birthday I was getting the other one, so my uncles brought me to Walmart, and they said, "Which one do you want?" And I picked that one, Ruby. So they're like, "Okay." They gave me a Ruby, and then I just started playing it. I remember my first starter was Swampert, my brother's starter was Trico, and my Swampert was the only one that got to level 100. But after we beaten those games, my brother got Fire Red and Leaf Green. He's the one that would always beat in it, and I never could beat in Fire Red or Leaf Green until later on. because I was so confused by it. And my brother loved Fire Red and Leaf Green. He would choose Squirtle, and I would choose Squirtle. But we both loved the games, and later on, Emerald came out. And I remember this is when all our cousins, including me and my brother, would all just quadra battle. Like, it would be 2v2, me and my brother versus John and Mike, or like John and Aaron versus my brother, and versus Mike and me, and all that stuff. It was a beautiful, it was so much fun. I was a breeder of the group, and I would breed all their Pokemon for them. And so it was just a huge blast. Every day we would go and play Pokemon against each other. But after that, when Pokemon, after Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald came out in elementary school, I remember one day in recess, we were, my brother was out on recess and I was out on recess, and we both saw a huge entire group of kids huddled around. So me and my brother went to go take a look at what was going on. And when we went to take a look, it was just two kids battling out in Pokemon cards. One had a Chansey, the other had an Electabuzz. And we were just screaming on how amazing, like, everyone was saying, like, okay, I play this card, and like countering, and it's like I boost him up and I heal him with a potion whatsoever. And we were just getting excited and how much they're countering each other. And then like later on, after that, like, we found out the guy who had Chansey won, and we were just like clapping and all amazed. And then teachers and principals came out and said, like, okay guys, break it up. We're gonna have to ban Pokemon for a bit. Like, you're not allowed to play, but you can still have them. We don't know what was the reason why. It was like, it was part of the school rules not to have Pokemon, but everyone still brought it anyway. So later on one day, this is a few years later, I believe I was in 2nd grade, I was still collecting Pokemon cards. I had a whole entire binder full of Pokemon cards, and I would just bring them to school. At recess, I would sit down on the bench and just look at them, and people would come over and want to trade. I'm like, sure, that's no problem. Now one day later, these two girls came up to me. They were trainers who loved Pokemon too. They had their own binders full of Pokemon cards, and we would just trade Pokemon. I remember I traded a Master Ball for one of their Deoxys. It was one of the greatest things ever. And one day, the girl asked me, hey Nathan, you notice how Pokemon is like, not a lot of people are playing as much Pokemon, right? I'm like, yeah, I noticed that too. Like, why don't we just start get people more into it again? I'm like, how's that? And she was like, let's just have like a Pokemon battle. I'm like, how? I don't have my game, you don't have your game. And she taught me how to play Pokemon with a trading card game. So when she taught me through that, everyone would just huddle around us just to watch us play Pokemon. And I remember later on, after we just kept playing, this one little girl came up to us and said she always wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, but she never had, like, she doesn't think she can. I was like, well, you can always be a Pokemon trainer. So later on, here, use this. I gave her an Eevee card. That Eevee card had a bunch of like flowers around it and like Eevee running through the flower patch. And the girl was so happy. She ran away, like giddy and laughing with the card. It made me feel so happy. And I remember I would always like give people out a Pokemon card because like I really didn't care that people would like take the Pokemon cards because I always had a copy of one. So I would always give like that one copy and still keep the original card. So later on, I would this is like a few years later. It's now middle school. Now middle school, a lot of people, like, some people would say Pokemon's for babies and stuff like that, but I didn't care. I still have my binder and stuff. I remember still playing it and everything. And one day, like, at school, someone found my Pokemon cards in the locker. They made fun of me for it. I didn't care, because I was a little upset, but who cares about that? But later on at lunch, I was looking for a place to sit. I didn't really know where to sit until I found this one table full of kids just playing Pokemon cards, Pokemon games. They all had their DS and all that stuff, and I was just amazed. So I go over and it's like, hello, can I sit there? They're like, sure, no problem. They're like, as long as you like Pokemon. I was like, I do. They asked me questions on what I like and stuff like that. I brought out my binder. They were all amazed, and we were all having such a grand time. This school was at Kiwami Middle School. But yeah, we would all talk about Pokemon together. We would all have battles. We all have short mini tournaments. It was great. That was the best table I ever been to. And that's how I made a lot of my friends. And we would all just talk about Pokemon. But later on, after middle school and high school started, a lot of those kids started to stop playing Pokemon. And a lot of them started to go like, oh, who plays Pokemon and all that stuff. But this is where in high school you either sink or swim. In freshman and sophomore year, I had my rough times. I stopped playing Pokemon as much. Everything like started like going like negative towards me just because we're playing Pokemon, until one day a friend told me about this club. It was an anime club. So I go there and I go see Pokemon players in one corner. I go over there and start talking to them. One was named Peter, and another person was named Alan, but Alan would just walk everywhere just to talk with everyone. And when I was talking to Peter, he was telling me, yeah, he was explaining to me how much he loved Pokemon and all that stuff. He showed me all his trades of in his game, and we would make trades until like later on he wanted to battle me. And I said sure, but I would always lose him. I never beaten him once until I asked him to tell me how he does it. That's when he told me about competitive battling. And when learning about competitive battling, it brought a whole new meaning to me in Pokemon, because I got to think about strategy, and that made me create my whole developed team. It was such a fun thing to do for myself, because I chose the Pokemon that I wanted. I took a look at the stats, see what they can do, abilities, all that stuff. Then later on, I remember my two friends, Alex and Alan, Alex was just playing around with Pokemon. He said, yeah, he was explaining to me how much he loved Pokemon through Pokemon Red, how he played it when he was at a very young age. And the Pokemon community started like to grow a little bit more in Anime Club. So one day we decided to have a tournament. The Pokemon tournament we decided to have was just for people to bring their DS, and we just battle it out. Now the only issue with that was one of the rules I decided to bring in was Smogon rules. I didn't know what Smogon was because this one girl showed it to me, and it just brought a lot of negativity. But soon, like saying, oh, you guys can't use this, you can't use a Speed Boost Blaziken. I'm like, I don't know these rules, I don't know that much, but those were the rules. So we just went on and played with it. So later on, one thing that we got so many people into the Pokemon tournament. I remember I faced my buddy Alex in the first round, and I faced him with the Cloyster, and I just sweeped his team. I'm sorry about that, Alex. Then later on, I decided to face my buddy Peter. I beat him with a Shuckle, and then later on, I found out I had to face my friend Alan in the finals. Now, Alan was dressed up as Red from and it was pretty amazing how he was dressed up as Pokemon Trainer Red. He had Red's whole entire team, he beats it off and everything. And when I decided to fight him, he even played Red's theme through the whole entire battle. And from fighting him, it just brought a whole new entire like amaze. After I beat him with like my Shuckle, because we were at 1, he was at 1, he had his Blastoise, I had my Shuckle. My Shuckle did, luckily I paralyzed his Blastoise. So at that last moment, he decided to attack me with the Hydro Pump. Paralyzed, couldn't move. I decided to use Power Swap. He's like, oh no, oh no. Alan decides to try attack again, paralyzed. And then the last thing I did was just like Earthquake. And I remember beating him that time. And I was just so happy that I did it. And he just decided to take his red hat and place it on top of my head and says like, you're the victory now. Congrats. And it just brought such a big like joy to my face, just because like of hard we've been like everyone's been like training for this moment, and like just to fight like entirely like that was just amazing. But after that moment, Pokemon started going downhill for me after Platinum. During like the high school times, it was still Black and White, but I remember my brother picking up Black and White, same with my cousins, and they were saying I don't know about Pokemon anymore. Like all of them started like not playing, all of them saying like I don't really like this one, the Pokemon are weird and stuff. So it was that phase, and I was the only one in my family that plays Pokemon. So I was just playing Pokemon, everyone else started moving on to other stuff, I was like, come on, try and give it a chance. And they're like saying, and they were saying no. But now by the time college reached, Pokemon X and Y was released. And when my brother heard about X and Y, he decided to get the game. I bought him X and I got myself Y. We started to play. And he says for years he hasn't felt Pokemon has touched him again until he played this game. And when he goes over to my cousins John and Mike's house, we just started saying like, you need to get this game. This game is so much fun. It's brought a lot of life back into it. And hearing all that stuff, my cousins decided to get it and they started to play it. And when they started playing it, it just brought even more memories because it took me back to that time when we were young of just playing Pokemon. And the last thing I just wanted to say is thank you, Pokemon, for bringing back so many things I have lost over the years. Thank you. And thank you guys for watching. Let me hear about your Pokemon stories in the comment section below. Take care.